Hamish, let's talk about mental health in construction and your personal journey of mental health in construction. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, it's something that's pretty relevant, I think, for a lot of people. But for me personally, a bit about me, I guess, resilience is a big part about what I do, to the point where I think it can be a bit of a weakness where you can put things on a shelf, carry on, move forward. I've learned some decent sized mistakes over the
Hmm.
years and come back from them. And I know I can keep doing that, but
Yeah.
there's a point where those boxes fall off the shelf a wee bit. And for me recently, I wouldn't say it's come from a depressed side of things, but it's definitely come from a trying to figure out who I am perspective. And the wheels started to fall off a wee bit. Um, I've always probably run a bit of a theory that I'm better than that, I'm tougher than that, I'm never going to fall in that state. And I found myself sitting in front of someone talking to someone about it because I didn't know where I was going.
And
I
there's
didn't,
nothing wrong with doing that. That's
there
that's the
isn't,
best thing you can do.
there isn't, and that's what I've learned from
Yeah.
that is I got it at a good point, if there's a good point, but I wasn't at the bottom of the hill. I wasn't needing an ambulance, and I couldn't recommend it more. There's been a couple of things lately. You'll see I'm running a bit of a
Yeah.
buzz cut at the
Why
moment.
are you running a bus cut?
One of the fellas, Sia in Christchurch, he's been at Schick as long as I have, so about 6 years. Got diagnosed with some cancer.
Oh man.
Sia's one of those guys that if you needed him at 2 a.m. in the morning, he'd be there.
Yeah.
He'd do anything for anyone else and not expect anything in return. He's just one of those all round good guys. So we, as a group in the South Island, got together to raise a bit of money for Sia and his family.
Oh mate, good on you.
So out of about 100 staff in the South Island, there's probably 30 of us that shaved our heads.
Oh fuck, that's
And
awesome.
that's significant, I think. Like, it's not
Yeah.
just one or two of us, it's 30 of us.
Yeah.
But it's those moments where Sia's going through something like that, where it puts it in perspective. And for me to go and see someone, it ain't that significant.
Yeah.
Um,
But
eh,
maybe we should give a little link. Is it? Do you
yeah,
have one of
yeah,
those
there
links?
is a give a little link. Yeah,
We'll try and put it down
yeah,
in
that'd
the
be
in the
appreciated. So,
in the video. So
mm,
yeah, or below the video and comments or whatever.
yeah, yeah,
I'll let these guys figure it out.
yeah.
They're good at that. Yeah,
But
no,
it's
I mean,
those things that
how
puts
is he
it.
doing though? More importantly,
He's still in treatment. The
yeah.
prognosis is looking good, but we're just being there for him, doing what he needs. A few of the boys are going around to his house, fixing up his garden in bits and pieces.
Yeah,
He won't like me saying this, but it was like that before he got sick. So
yeah,
it just needed help. But yeah, it puts it all in perspective. I think the industry as a whole, going back to finding out what I needed. Um, there's a common process or common thought that you need to be this tough, hardline person to be successful in construction. I pigeonholed myself into that. It's not me. Like, I was reflecting, going back to what I was like at high school. I was up on stage doing comedy skits, singing. I don't have any tone at all, but I was singing the national anthem in front of the whole school, that
that's
sort
cool.
of thing. And over the years, that's gone less and less and less. So the last couple of months, I've figured out who I am to a point. Going on things like this, I'm speaking at the CCNZ National Conference at the end
Awesome.
of the month, that
Yeah,
sort of thing. Just getting back to what I enjoy,
yeah, cool.
and it helps on a daily basis when you do need to execute in those pressure environments. Your sound, your decision making strong, all of that sort of stuff, because you know where your head's at. Um,
So I have a pretty similar story.
yeah.
I reached a point of absolute burnout.
Mm,
It's early on this year.
mm,
Because I started strategic planning 2 and a bit years ago,
yeah.
in the middle of COVID. And it was pretty cool. What I didn't expect was the amount of work I was going to get flooded with,
Yeah.
and it was awesome. I mean, I could solve all these problems.
Yeah.
I could go present the solution, get into delivering the solution. Great, and it's just that yeah, quantify it. So
Mm.
I worked in 28 companies in the last 2.5 years, different construction companies.
That's a lot in 2.5 years.
I think it's a lot more than some people would,
Mm.
go through in their lifetime with different companies that they work in. So it's been like real interesting. I mean, like I haven't fully worked there now. Go in as a consultant, solve a problem, get
Yeah.
the fuck out as quickly as I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I hate being a bum on a seat. But yeah, back to the mental health stuff. So I actually realized, I started drinking a lot more, being absolutely, agitated constantly. So those are like my triggers. Like that when I started getting losing my cool in meetings,
Yeah.
those are all like little triggers for me. And I
Mm.
went, shit, fuck, I need help. Like, and when I got, lucky enough, I think Stan and them introduced me to Drew Knowles, who's a great mental health
Mm.
coach. And mate, what he did to my brain over the last 6 months, amazing.
Yeah.
I'd probably be dead without that help.
Yeah. No, it's scary, and I don't like a lot of it's a motivation thing. And
Yeah,
people had a bit of a trough and think, oh, the world's going to end. And it is just motivation, but it ties to a lot of burnout. You can't be like sport's massive in my life, so I relate a lot back to sport. But say you play in Australia for the All Blacks this weekend, they train all week and they've got to be at 100+% on Saturday for 80 minutes. They only have
that's
to do it for 80 minutes.
that's when it matters.
That's when it matters. In a workplace environment, you have to be 100% plus 5 days a week for 50 hours a week. It's tough.
Yeah, yes and no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Well,
I'm I'm always running out to go get a coffee.
that's the expectation,
Yeah,
in my opinion, anyway. Like, if you were able to perform at 100%, 80% of the time, you're going to be
pretty
pretty
bad. Yeah,
solid. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Is that what happened to you? How did you realize that? What was your trigger?
Drinking as well.
Yeah,
Used to be a pretty heavy smoker as well.
yeah,
Kick that, that sort of thing. My partner moving up to Nelson whipped me into lime pretty shape
yeah,
because some people that I work with in Nelson would drive past the office and the lights would still be on at 9 o'clock, and they'd go, "What are you doing?"
yeah. Right.
That obviously isn't going to last that long with the partner and living with them and trying to live a life on that front too. So
Yeah.
she's been a big help on that front. Um, but in general, I'm in a real good place now.
Ah, good on you, bro.
But it was funny because I had to sit down one to one with someone internally, and they sort of said, "I'm worried about you because I think you think things are better than they are." This is a while back, and I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Shit, I must have been pretty good at hiding it because I'll let you in. I've actually started seeing someone about not being so good." And they couldn't believe it because I just had this facade on that everything was all good. And looking back over the years at people that haven't been so lucky about figuring it out, that's exactly what the case was as well. So
Yeah.
you've really got to put a lot of effort into intimately knowing your people, being able to figure out like so your triggers with drinking, or they'd turn up every day and then they missed a day, they went MIA or whatever it might be for them. Really, we're not counselors, so we're never going to be able to fix it.
Yeah.
But if you can pick up the triggers and start directing them in the right places or just being there,
Or getting them the support that they need.
yeah,
That's really important, isn't it?
it'll be massive.
Yeah.
Mm.
Imagine if everybody in the construction industry could actually identify those triggers and get the
Mm.
help that they need.
Yeah, because you spend more time at work with those people than anyone else.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you can't pick up on those triggers and care on that basic level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Some really interesting thoughts, mate.
Mm.
I appreciate that.